How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Facebook's reaction to all the anti-lockdown protests that have been happening nationwide. You're talking about California, New York, Virginia, Tennessee, Michigan, Minnesota, all over the U.S. There are anti-lockdown protests happening. Why? It's because local government have prevented Americans from being able to get out of their house, go to work, and provide for themselves and their family because they say, oh, we got to stop the spread and flatten the curve. What's really flattening is the economy, and people are not able to pay their bills. They're not able to go out there and eat. It's really bad. I'm seeing people right now going to dumpsters looking for food because they can't afford to go to the store and buy it. Now, if you are a person that is organizing your event on Facebook, like many of us do, it's the biggest social media platform on the internet, you may be banned due to spreading misinformation. Now, before I go any further, let's go ahead and get into this clip. In this clip, you'll see Zuckerberg himself talking about why he would ban you for organizing an anti-lockdown protest. After we get done with that, I'll talk about what he said there. I'll talk about what else he said there that I did not talk about right now. I'll give you my 2 cents, my deep, detailed analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
In a world where we stand 6 feet apart to be safe, how can we track COVID-19 and better protect ourselves? Facebook has come up with one answer and wants you to help.
We're partnering with researchers at Carnegie Mellon University to run a widespread survey across Facebook, asking people what kind of symptoms they're feeling.
Just explain to everybody how it works and what you hope to achieve.
We're able to work with the researchers to produce an interactive map based on the aggregate data that provides a daily updated county by county map of the symptoms that people are experiencing across the country.
These maps help officials identify situations where more supplies are needed, and they also help predict resurgence based on self-reporting of symptoms.
The individual data and responses actually don't go to Facebook at all. Carnegie Mellon produces an aggregate report that doesn't include anyone's individual response. It's a really important part of this program that Facebook is helping to distribute the survey, but it's Carnegie Mellon's survey.
And Facebook and Carnegie Mellon are now expanding this survey on a global scale, working to provide the data to governments and public health officials worldwide.
I can also imagine a lot of leaders in a lot of countries who aren't going to be happy with that kind of transparency.
We're certainly seeing that there are some governments that I think might be trying to suppress how bad the disease is in their countries. But I do think it can also help keep them accountable and honest about what the symptoms are.
Facebook also holds its users accountable by continuing to monitor and flag posts for harmful misinformation about the disease.
How do you deal with the fact that Facebook is now being used to organize a lot of these protests to defy social distancing, defy the social distancing guidelines in states? Is somebody trying to organize something like that, does that qualify as harmful information?
We do classify that as harmful misinformation, and we take that down. At the same time, it's important that people can debate policies, so there's a line on this.
All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, before I even get into the main event, which is the whole thing with banning of the pages that are trying to organize anti-stay-at-home protests, what's going on with this graph he was talking about, saying, oh, there's going to be heat maps of hot areas, people having symptoms. Okay, I might have a cough, I may have a sneeze or something like that. That doesn't mean I have the virus. What are you going to do with the information? I'm seeing a lot of these things pop up from a lot of these tech giants in Silicon Valley trying to, exert control over us. Where would the data go? Will it go to foreign governments? Will it stay right here in the US? Will it be internal? Will Facebook see it? What's going on? It's reminding me of Alexa when this whole thing came out where people were concerned about their privacy and saying, hey, is this thing in our house? It can hear a conversation. Should I have that on? They were like, nope, don't worry about it. It's all good. But then it came out that they were listening to your conversations and laughing about it, sharing tapes and stuff like that in the office. So I'm not a big fan of our data just being handled any kind of way for this virus. All right. How about have doctors and nurses handle the medical stuff? Facebook and other tech giants really shouldn't be involved, in my humble opinion. But for now, I digress. Let's get into this whole thing about some of the event pages being banned, or maybe you being banned, maybe your Facebook page being banned because you want to protest the lockdown thing. How is this not a violation of free speech? Just straight up and down, straight away. Nothing is being advocated for that's violent. We're not trying to go out there and hurt anybody, assault anybody, steal anything, or do anything that's somehow illegal. So why must these event pages be taken down? And it seems kind of quick, because I remember back in the day, about 2 years ago or more, maybe a little bit more than that, you had all these Antifa groups running around, spreading their stuff on Facebook, organizing on Facebook for violent action. And they put it right on there. They're for violent action, and it's not a game. And everybody knew about it. They tried to get Facebook to act, and they really didn't, maybe until too late. I'm not sure if they have acted at all right now. I think they have, but even if they have acted right now, their reaction to what they were doing was way too late. You want to ban something, how about you ban Antifa and what they were doing right away, rather than letting it kind of rock for some years until you did something? You understand what I'm saying? And the anti-lockdown groups aren't doing anything illegal. Is it illegal to actually have more than 10 people in one space? Is that illegal? Like, where is the law that got passed? I want to see the law in the books that says that I cannot be within a crowd of 10. I really want to see that. As far as I know, it's a recommendation. Okay. Maybe they might try to fine me or something like that. But if you go to court with that fine, you probably would beat it, because where's the law? Maybe there's an executive order out there right now for some governors, some states, or some mayors, or whatever the case may be. But when it's all said and done, this is not anything other than free speech violation. All right. It's weird how these tech giants want to suppress certain things, but allow other things to pretty much just roll and there's no problem. Black Lives Matter and Antifa, they were pretty much given free reign for a very long time before anything was done. But now that you want to have a peaceful protest against a lockdown, that's a problem. And he's like kind of straddling the fence here, talking about Zuckerberg himself. He's saying that he wants to have discourse open for debate as it relates to political issues, but I can't have a protest. Isn't that exactly what a protest is? To go out there and have a different point of view than what is normal? Maybe he thinks that the protest is violating social distance, but there have been some protests, people are going to stay in their car. All right, they're never going to get out. So how can I be inside my car, windows rolled up, and violate social distancing? It doesn't make any sense. I feel like a lot of these places, your tech giants and those on the left in politics, they'll use this time right now to do things they normally couldn't do. Normally what he's doing right now will be met with much more fervor, much more of a passionate response against it. Maybe even a protest against him specifically at his house or at Facebook in California, Silicon Valley. But because everybody's home and people are demoralized as a result of being home and not being able to go out there and work, you could do things like this and nobody's going to care. I do care personally. I should be able to organize a protest if I want to, wherever I want. As long as I'm not advocating for violence, that's my right. And really, the truth is, I have the right to freedom of assembly. Peaceful, simple. I'm going to go out there, be peaceful, speak my mind, and say, hey, let's get back to work. Is it about just trying to protect American citizens, or is it about something else? It's weird because you go to these cities and they say, okay, you got to stay at home, or you got to stay, 6 foot distance. They got homeless encampments right next to each other. You saw that in Venice Beach where they were filling in the skate park with sand. Right next to the skate park, well, like up the street on the actual road off of the beach, you have homeless encampments. I'm talking about within a stone's throw of the beach, you got homeless encampments, tents side by side. All right. And those tents are filthy on the inside, all kind of disease, drugs, needles, everything else inside the tents. And then on top of that, they're side by side. So what are we really doing? What's really going on? Hard to tell, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook are correct to ban you if you want to organize a protest against the stay-at-home orders, against social distancing, against your business being shut down? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or do you think that he was incorrect, that he's totally wrong. You're violating free speech. You are not really behaving as a good faith actor. What you're doing right now is using your power to oppress people. Okay, people are trying to get the word out there. They're trying to make things happen with the tool that you use to make a lot of money. So let us use that same tool to liberate ourselves or to help liberate ourselves. I don't see the same thing happening on Twitter, YouTube, or whatever. Maybe it could happen, but I don't see it. What is a bigger picture here? I'm kind of struggling to figure out what's going on because I'm seeing multiple things happening at once and I'm trying to just see where they all converge. I'm having a hard time. Do you know? Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.